everybody, welcome to What's Wrong With. This is the third installment. We're going back to movies for this go round. We're covering Rob Zombie's latest horror film, Lords of Salem. And this time, we have a special co-host, also from dorkjuice.com, contributor Sam. So we're going to be telling you everything we hate about something we love. That's sort of the tagline here. We tell you shit that we hate about the shit that we love. Unfortunately, with this movie, I'm not sure we can say there's anything about it that we loved, other than that Rob Zombie directed it, and we both love Rob Zombie. So this is What's Wrong With the Lords of Salem.
The first problem that I had with the Lords of Salem had to do with the cast, specifically the three people that they casted to do this morning talk show where Sherry Moon Zombie's character Heidi Hawthorne worked at. You know, one of those typical morning talk shows with the girl, you know, the hipster dude, and the black guy, obviously. But what was strange about it was that, you know, why would these three people ever do a show together? You had Heidi Hawthorne. You thought at first that she was this sort of hipstery, alternative girl, but it turns out that she's pretty normal. She just looks like that. And then you have the black man who really has no place on this, because I think that they played one soul song in there, or maybe a couple, where he's like, yeah, I like this, and everybody else is like, why are we playing this? One thing I actually liked about this movie was Bruce Davison's character, Francis Matthias, who plays sort of an author of witchcraft books and stuff like that. From the moment you saw him, you realized that this is a guy that we've seen so many times before in horror movies. The guy who tries to save the world, or tries to save the protagonist, but just fails miserably.
So Rob Zombie's sort of known for having a weird cast, but I think this one went like super too far. So you got your Sherry Moon Zombie, you got your Sid Haig, there's a few others in there that you expect to see in every Rob Zombie movie. They're there. But then the additions that we've got are so fucking obscure. Like the first one, the head witch bitch of the Lords of Salem. She is actually, the last movie I saw her in was Masters of the Universe, the He-Man movie with Courtney Cox from the 80s. In that, she played like Skeletor's right-hand chick, Mistress Pain. I don't fucking remember. Who knows? When's the last time you saw Masters of the Universe, for fuck's sake? Yeah, so I got on IMDb because I was like, oh wow, I haven't seen her in a while. I bet she's been doing a lot of really cool shit since. No! She hasn't done anything since Masters of the Universe. This is the first thing on IMDb that she's done since Masters of the Universe. And why the fuck Rob Zombie thought it was a good idea to include her, I don't know. But you get to see her naked a lot, which is not a good thing. The next weird casting choice, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Anybody? Rocky Horror Picture Show? Magenta from Rocky Horror Picture Show is in this movie. Similar story, hasn't really done a lot since Rocky Horror Picture Show, but she's still got red hair, which is cool. The rest of the cast is forgettable. Who the fuck cares? Oh no, there is a big pile of naked people at the end. I remember them. So I'm like a massive Rob Zombie fan. I have loved all of his music, at least until like the last 6 years or so, because nobody cares anymore. I loved the Halloween remakes. I loved House of a Thousand Corpses. I really fucking loved Devil's Rejects. Not only one of my favorite horror movies, one of my favorite movies of all time. That fucking Freebird part at the end. I cried like a bitch every time, swear to God. So, needless to say, I was going into the Lords of Salem with like super high expectations. I mean, it's Rob Zombie. You expect it to be gory, you expect it to be gritty, raw, visceral, and this movie, in comparison to all the other Rob Zombie movies, is like the biggest pile of dog shit in his entire fucking canon. Oh my god, does this make every other Rob Zombie movie look like shit? You can't even really compare Lords of Salem to like Devil's Rejects. You just can't, because they're completely different beasts. You get the feeling that like Rob Zombie was going for some sort of like art house, Dario Argento horror-y thing, but it just didn't work. So what really sucks is now every time I think of Rob Zombie films, I am now forced to think of Lords of Salem as one of his films, which is going to ruin the integrity of everything else he's ever done, in my opinion. So not only could we call this video What's Wrong with Lords of Salem, now we could say what's wrong with Rob Zombie's career. Lords of Salem is what's wrong with Rob Zombie's fucking career.
I'm a big Rob Zombie fan. This movie, however, brings back none of the elements that he's had in his past films. It kind of made me just want to curl up in a ball and go to sleep. Not because I was afraid, but because I was just bored. One thing that I really like about Rob Zombie films is the music and the gore. The Lords of Salem really offered neither of these things. The gore was pretty much non-existent, and the music, hey, this is a guy who I bought some of his soundtracks before for, hey, 50 cents at some record store, but regardless, he knows how to put a pretty good soundtrack to a horror movie. This time he didn't really do it. I was really expecting Rob Zombie to bring some gore into this film, but there really wasn't any of it. Probably the goriest scene was when 3 ladies were beating a man over the head with a frying pan. Usually when I see a scene with anybody beating somebody over the head with a frying pan, I want to see impact. I want to see the frying pan go right against the head and, just the brains and everything get crushed. They didn't really show it. You just saw kind of blood afterwards, and it was like, I've seen this before, so really nothing special in the gore department. My next problem with The Lords of Salem was that it just wasn't that scary. The scariest part of the movie may have been the burned naked elderly women. Coincidentally, that burned naked elderly women was also the name of my Bare Naked Ladies cover band in high school. There was a lot of burned naked elderly women. I don't know what Rob Zombie's deal was with this. It kind of turned me on. Every attempt that Rob Zombie takes to scare us just turns out like some badly made final project in a freshman film class.
So yeah, no, this is not only not horror, it's not scary. There's maybe 2 parts in the film that I was scared, and they're jump scares. What really pisses me off is that Rob Zombie's creative vision has denigrated so much in this film that the only way he's scaring audiences is with jump scares. I mean, for fuck's sake, after you got done watching The Devil's Rejects, did you ever think that this guy was gonna make a film so not scary that the only thing that was gonna scare you was a fucking jump scare? This is the guy who made a movie about a family of serial killers, like the worst fucking... In Devil's Rejects, if you haven't seen it, one of the serial killers rapes a woman with a gun in her vagina. And this guy goes on to make a movie where the only scary thing is a jump scare with a naked old elderly bitch. So my last problem is probably the biggest problem, the storyline.
The storyline. Oh man, what do I have to tell you about the storyline? Nothing. It was just a really, really bad storyline. I had no idea what the hell was going on for most of it, and a lot of the film viewing experience just consisted of eating pizza-flavored goldfish and masturbation. So I can't even tell you what happened at any point in this movie, to be completely honest.
So since he doesn't have a whole lot to say, I've got fucking plenty. Piggybacking off of what he's just said, this story makes no goddamn sense. And not only does it make no goddamn sense, it feels like it's like 5 stories all pushed together to try and be one. It's like the Power Rangers of fail. So the basic storyline here is Sherry Moon Zombie. I fucking hate her name, by the way. Sherry Moon Zombie is like the worst you can never just say in casual conversation, yeah, Sherry Moon Zombie. You can say Rob Zombie, that just flows, but Sherry Moon Zombie, I mean, you have to, it's because the moon, Sherry Moon, I'm done. So Sherry Moon Zombie plays some bitch who works at some stupid radio show with 2 other people who are retarded. This all takes place in modern day Salem. The movie starts out with not modern day Salem, it's like the 1600s or something stupid. And in that part you've got this coven of witches called the Lords of Salem. As witches were wont to do in the 1600s, these witches are burned alive. Later in the film, this isn't really a spoiler, it's witches in the 1600s in Salem. If you don't know what the fuck happened to them, you don't know your history. So fast forward back to Sherry Moon Zombie, she somehow gets wrapped up with these witches through a fucking stupid series of events, and she starts getting haunted by the lead witch, the Lord of the Lords, the Lords squared of Salem. And so then the rest of the movie is just her trying to deal with these witches who keep popping up. You don't really know why they're popping up until the end. And you do find out what that reason is, but it's such a fucking stupid reason. When I think of like a good reason for a witch to want to fuck your shit up, the reason in this movie is not that. Like, it could just be an evil bitch, like Blair Witch Project. Just fucking evil bitch. You were on her turf, she didn't want you there, so she killed you and all your friends in a basement. Or it could be like a paranormal activity thing where you're haunted and your whole family is haunted. Or it could just be the classic haunted house story where there's a witch who's put a curse on a house and now you have to deal with it. What it should not be, however, is what it is in Lords of Salem. Because it's stupid. I guess I shouldn't spoil it, I guess, but the reason Sherry Moon Zombie is getting haunted by this coven of witches is fucking retarded. So the rest of the story, after you get past this initial part, there's some sort of weird like love thing going on with the dude with the beard at the radio station. I don't care. Nobody cares. It's stupid. It might as well not be the movie. The black guy's in there for a bit, and then he's gone. So That happens. And then Sherry Moon Zombie has some sort of weird sex thing with the witches. I really wish I could be more specific, but once you see the movie, you'll know why I can't. Not because it's a spoiler, but because it doesn't make any goddamn sense. One cool thing that does happen in the storyline is Sherry Moon Zombie spits a lobster out of her vagina. Yep. So overall, the storyline in this movie, I think Sam summed it up pretty well. I don't know what the fuck happened. You're not gonna know either. And then the credits roll. The end. So that's it. That's everything that's wrong with the Lords of Salem. Sam, would you recommend this movie to anyone?
Let's say you're on a road trip with the wife and you're going out west or south or wherever you take a road trip to. Stop at a gas station, go in and pay. It's one of those old-time gas stations. So you go in, you look into the DVD bin just for the hell of it. Maybe there's some Eddie Murphy movie that you missed from years ago, and you see Lords of Salem. You think, wow, $2.50 for a movie? I mean, I can't pass up on that. So you pick it up, watch it with the wife. Wife says, what is this? You say, hey, I don't give a shit, we're on vacation. Maybe you'll enjoy it then. But only then should you watch The Lords of Salem.
I kind of agree with that statement wholeheartedly. I might even say that that's going a little bit too far. I'm never going to watch this movie again. I don't know why anybody would. It's a piece of fucking shit. So that's it. That's all of this episode of What's Wrong with the Lords of Salem. I've been Joel from dorkjuice.com. Special guest today was Sam, also from dorkjuice.com. Check us out on Twitter at dorkjuicetweets. Find us on Facebook. Please do like, share the shit out of this video, and we'll catch you guys next time.